Hello there, and welcome to my new episode. Today, we are going to talk about something that came up with a client recently. I thought, you know what, this happened to me personally. Also, maybe it happened to you. So, what happened was, I was talking to a client and they were expressing frustration over what they should be focused on. They're starting a new business and they don't know whether to focus on growing the business, learning more about the process of the business, working on, limited beliefs, working on the execution of the project, the website, like when you're starting your own business, there's a lot of things that are important at the same time. And you have to focus on one at a time or multiple, but anyways, that's another story. It's overwhelming. After I talked to the client, I said, all right, what did you come to me for originally? The original idea was to help them build confidence in themselves and feel good about what they are doing and get rid of this imposter syndrome as if they were not ready to start their own business. And so I said, the only thing that you should be focused on right now is your mindset, is the way that you see yourself and your business, because everything will stem from that. So there's a framework that I learned in my training for coaching that is called OAR. It stands for Observer, Action, Results. And most people, when they don't get the results that they want, they tend to change their action. Oh, well, I'll try something new. I'll try this approach. I'll try talking like this. I'll try doing something physical. In action, you're either doing a physical action or you're in conversation. Those are the only two actions us humans will do. And so most of the time you try something new, but what ends up happening is you get the same results. And the reason why is because your observer is still the same. So if you go back to how you see the world and you change the parts that are affecting the certain area that you're trying to focus on in your life, you will change the action that you're going to take next and you're going to get the results that you want. But you cannot take any actions when you're coming from a mindset that you're not ready, that you're not confident, because every action is going to be a reflection of that. So what I say, the easiest thing to focus on when you're struggling and you're going through a problem is, how am I thinking about this problem? How is my observer right now? How am I seeing things? What you can do most of the time, your observer and limited beliefs comes from the stories that you have in your head. And we all hear those voices in your head, right? I call them little gnomes, right? You have little gnomes being like, hey, yeah, you suck. You're not ready. And the other one's like, no, but she's good. She can do it. And the other one's like, no, maybe not yet, but you need time. And they're all there. All those voices in your head are there. If you listen to all their voices all the time, you're going to go nuts, right? Because we have like a million thoughts processing at the same time. So that's not going to be helpful to you. And those voices are not you, right? They're just thoughts. If you're able to look at those voices in your head as if they're not a representation of you, they're just little gnomes in your head bothering you and just filling up space in your mind, then you can take it less personal and not feel like it's a part of you. Okay? So you could look at it objectively. And then once you do that, you can listen to the story, right? Because if you don't listen, imagine whatever gnome is talking to you the most, that's the loudest one. And that gnome is there because you feed it every day. You listen to it and you do what it tells you. And as long as you do what it tells you, it's going to stay there and it's going to be very, very present. If that gnome is no longer serving you and getting you what you want, you need to listen to it. Say, I hear you, but it's not serving me right now. I'm going to focus on something else. And then you focus on the gnome that might not be there and you're going to welcome it in, or you're just, however you want to see it in your head. I see it as little gnomes, but you could see it as another voice. You could see it as another mindset, whatever you want. I'm going to call it a gnome. Another gnome comes in and it starts telling you good things. It starts telling you the things that are going to encourage you, the things that are going to help you grow, the things that are going to feel good to you. And you'll know if that's a good gnome because you'll feel good about it. If you don't feel good about it, It's the same annoying gnome that you should have gotten rid of. And so you're going to focus on the good feeling gnome and you're going to take actions from that one. And what happens is because you've been feeding the other one, that other one's really loud in your head and has basically brainwashed you to think that you suck or you're not good enough or you're not worthy or you're not ready. And you now have to switch into the good gnome against your own beliefs. You have to stick with it because that's how you feed it. And the more you feed it, the more it grows. The idea is that you want to slowly starve the annoying gnome and feed the good feeling gnome. And once you feed that good feeling gnome, you're going to know what actions you need to take for your next step on whatever it is that you want, because it's going to feel better and it's going to feel different and it's going to be a different approach. You're going to take a different approach and that's going to lead you to what you want to do. And then that'll be your next focus, right? Your next focus will be what you're going to do next. Maybe it's the inspiration of the vision for your business. Maybe it's how you're going to, build your brand. Maybe it's how you're going to talk to clients. Maybe it's how you're going to negotiate, how you're going to speak in public. All of those things come from changing your mindset and feeding the better feeling gnome. One warning I will give you is that the annoying gnome cannot be ignored. You cannot ignore it, right? Because what do you do when you ignore an annoying person? They annoy you even more. And they make sure you hear them no matter what. So you just basically let him down slowly each time until he starves and no longer has enough power and will eventually just chill out. He'll never leave you alone completely. He'll come back every now and then, but you have to make sure that you are now aware that that is that gnome. You can give him a name and then you come to focus on the one that is serving you well. And that takes some time and it takes practice and it takes a lot of awareness, but you can do it. And so I just want to say, like, when you're struggling and trying to figure out what should I focus on? I have so many things in my head. I have so much to do for my new business, for my new project, for whatever it is that you're working on, or life in general. Remember that the only thing you need to focus on is being in the right mindset, because from there, naturally, everything else will fall into place. So let me know if this works for you. I'm dying to know. It worked for me like magic, and I still have to remind myself as well. If I see something's not going the right way for me, I say, okay, who's talking? Like, what's the voice I'm listening to? And then I can come back to the good feeling voice, and then I can act from there. And then I usually get the results that I want. So hopefully it works for you. See you.